So in your self-defense training, if you're a self-defense instructor and you're offering classes, whether it's group classes or private lessons, it's very important that you don't just focus on technique. I remember years ago I got invited to go to Germany, and there was this guy that invited me. I was going to give a seminar at his place. I think the seminar was on a Saturday, and I already arrived in this town. It's in Bottrop in Germany. Either way, I arrived there on a Thursday. I remember he picked me up and he said he's going to show me his classes. Okay, now kudos to him. He's got a massive organization that he put together, and he took me to a class that was going on. I don't understand German, but what happened is the place was full. I walked in, everybody stood like that. Then they moved out to positions, and you could see they practiced this, okay? And then the instructor would shout something in German, but it sounded like 1A or 3C or whatever. He didn't even say the scenario. He would shout something like, we are going to do technique 1A. Everybody would go boom, and they would attack. Let's say for argument's sake, we're using a gun against the stomach. That would have been technique 1A, boom, and then go, and everybody would do 1A. Done. Change it over. And so they worked it through. I stood and I looked for about 20 minutes, and it was like a Swiss clock. They just were very Germanic. 1A, 2B, 3C, da-da-da. They were working their way through a curriculum, perfectly polished. I must say it looked super impressive. The only issue with this, not a single one of those people they could fight. Why? Because they were so stuck in doing a curriculum perfect, which means 1A is a gun like that. This is 1C. You get it? Okay, I'm just now over-exaggerating, or a guy attacks you with a knife like that, but if you add it a little bit like that, it's a completely different move in the curriculum. So they were so stuck in following a structure that they didn't get to what is important. And in reality, what is important for self-defense is to fight. Okay? I offer self-defense for people so that they, if ever somebody wants to take their lives or the lives of their family, they need to survive that. I'm not offering people self-defense because it's a nice activity or it's a lifestyle thing for them. No, there's a job to do, okay? The job is they need to be able to fight. And they need to be fighting somebody that is super aggressive and that's somebody that has got probably more experience in violence than them. That is who they are going to fight. Their ability to pull off a curriculum or to do it perfectly means absolutely nothing in that scenario, okay? What only matters is their ability to fight. So what is it that we need in a fight? And this is what I call the elements of training, okay? And I work in all my classes, whether private or group, I make sure that these elements are covered in all classes, okay? So first things first, it all starts off with the principles. The correct principles, which is not my principles, it's the principles of combat, which I'm not going to delve into now, but shortly, it's like whenever you get attacked, see what you're being attacked with. Wait for the opportunity to surprise the guy back, get control, do damage until it's finished. That's basically that. I summarized it in a very short thing. Those principles, how I explain it, that's my IP. Leave it, okay? So either way, the principles, following the correct structure, okay? Then after that, the second thing that's most important from there is the explosiveness of movement. So if you follow the correct principles, and you have explosiveness of movement, because that, or call it aggression, whatever, you're already going to have a much better chance than somebody that's just trying to wait for the moment to apply a perfect technique. Okay, so first thing I focus on are the correct principles. Second thing is explosiveness of movement / aggression, whatever you want to call it. You can't be really aggressive without being explosive, okay? Which is completely different than being fast. Speed and aggression is not the same thing. Speed and explosiveness is not the same thing. I really love boxing, so I would say somebody that's really fast is somebody like Floyd Mayweather. Somebody that's explosive is Mike Tyson. I would rather fight like Mike Tyson than Floyd Mayweather for my life. You get that, okay? So then it brings me down to the next element, and that is obviously technique. So if somebody trains, there is obviously an effective technique that I have to teach them. Hear what I say, effective and not perfect, okay? So technique is important. The only importance of technique is to be effective. Get that? So first thing I focus on, first element is principles. Second thing is explosiveness / aggression. Third thing is technique. From there, the next thing that I work on is conditioning. Because the more conditioned they are, the better they can train. The more conditioned they are, the more they can train. The better conditioned they are, the least injuries there are in training. Because keep it like this, as explanation. Somebody can understand the principles perfectly. They can be aggressive, they can be explosive, they can understand the technique perfect, but they're not conditioned. Now, what does conditioning do? Conditioning increases your range. If you are conditioned, you will increase your range. Surely if I weigh 80 kilograms, I'm going to be able to be much quicker and much further off the mark than if I suddenly gain 30 kilograms. Just my range. If I have to move my body forward, I can surely do it a lot faster, a lot better, a lot further if I was conditioned to do so than not. So conditioning is important. I can also have the best intention, the best aggression. I can have everything there. A guy tries to stab me with a knife and I shoot forward, there goes my Achilles, or I snap my Achilles and I collapse in front of the guy. And that is conditioning, because you need to be conditioned for combat. That's the reason troops do push-ups. There's a reason troops run. So, because they need to be conditioned for combat. Okay. Surely, yes, I agree. It's true. You can be completely overweight, completely overfight, and still fight. Overweight, completely unfit, and you can still fight for your life. I fully agree with that. Okay. But surely you're going to fight a lot better, a lot harder, a lot longer if you are conditioned to do so. It just makes total sense. Okay. And the last element that I focus on is adapting. Okay, because it will never go according to plan. Okay, so as important as perfect technique or effective technique is, you must be able to adapt according to the scenario in front of you. Okay, so every session I give you, I make sure, are they learning according to the principles of combat? Okay, are we working on their aggression and their explosiveness? Meaning the drills that we do in between class, is that adding to up their levels of aggression if needed? Is it aiding it or not? Okay, cool, so that's there. Then I say the technique that they are learning, is it fundamentally sound? Meaning, is it effective? Is that technique that they're learning effective? Great, okay, so yes it is. Okay, then I say, cool, they're here for an hour for training, learning technique, learning to deal with a scenario. They might as well do some conditioning in the same time as part of the class. So I mix it into the drills I bring in conditioning drills into the class. And then lastly, every technique that they learn, I say, do they know how to adapt it if whatever they're trying to do goes wrong? So they might want to, the scenario I showed them was maybe a gun against their head and they need to go in. Can they adapt it to go out? Or instead of going over, can they go under? Or what if they're faced with a super tall person, or whatever. Do they know? Are we explaining it to them in a way that they know how to adapt if they are necessary? Okay, so bottom line, after everything I said here, is I make sure that I never get members at Truegraph stuck into a perfect curriculum, because that's going to be detrimental to them. It's going to make them trust so much in a perfect technique that when it doesn't go their way, they're probably just going to give up, or what happens is something goes wrong and they try to reset and try to do it again, and that's going to be fatal. Okay, so to summarize for you, the elements of training that I focus on is first and foremost the correct principles, second thing explosiveness, third thing will be technique, the fourth thing is going to be conditioning, and the fifth thing is going to be adapting. Put that all together and I feel, for my brain, that gives you a much better chance of being effective in your training. Thank you.